Penultimate game of the afternoon session here at the Dutch Darts Masters, live from Maastricht. And it's the Mouth of the South versus the Real Deal for a place in the second round and a meeting with number 11 seed Alan Norris. Richard North, a man originally from Swindon but based in Hampshire nowadays. In his first year as a PDC pro, comes into this off the back of his first final in a PDC ranking tournament, only beaten in a narrow defeat. Dave Chizzy Chisnell. There's Mike De Decker, one of the cadre of young Belgians who phenomenally talented and looking to make their mark in the back end of this year. Perhaps Dimitri van den Berg leading the way in that little cabal of young Belgian talents, but Mike De Decker not that far behind him. Rob Malarkey joins me, Dan Dawson, in the commentary box for this one.
Yeah, the first of the Real Deals.
First leg is Mike to throw first.
On stage today, I believe Nico Bloom has stolen that nickname as well. Or if he did have it, he may have changed it in the meantime. I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was Flower Power.
I was looking at a website. I was confused by this. I was looking at a website earlier, and it claimed, it said that it was a Dutch one as well, that Nico Bloom is called the Real Deal. So we might have an issue on our hands here later. But anyway, in the meantime,
60.
The original Real Deal. At Real Deal 180, Mike De Decker.
If you've got the Twitter handle, that's
yours.
Yeah.
You've got it. 9/10 of the law.
108.
Well, certainly the Real Deal, isn't he? With the first 180 of the match. But yeah, good matchup between these two. Richard North, a player, certainly moving in the right direction. A player going places right now, as well as you mentioned, that's her first final appearance in Players' Championship 18 in Barnsley. You could say it had been coming as well, because he had, back-to-back quarterfinals in June. He had a more recent one as well in Wigan. And he beat some fairly illustrious players. He beat Christo Reyes and James Wade in Wigan. That was in the middle of June.
100. Mikey require 149.
Before losing to Gary Anderson. So, yeah, the signs were there.
Yeah, I think Richard North has impressed a lot of people with how he's played in his
45.
first year on the PDC Tour. Certainly not a man who lacks confidence. I think he's only going to get
45.
better as he gets used to competing, particularly on these big stages.
Yeah. This is his third appearance on the European Tour.
14.
Game shot on the
lovely
first leg.
check out from Mike De Decker.
Second leg is from Richard to throw first.
15 darter.
Very nicely done.
100.
Came a dad yesterday morning, Richard North. Basically left the hospital straight to the airport.
Picked up his darts on the way. Probably took his darts with him, actually.
Possibly, don't know. Don't have that information.
72.
Just in case they needed a scalpel. In another theatre, that is.
Ah, lovely. Surgical precision from Richard North.
That's what I was doing, Dan. I was just teeing it up for you.
Yeah. Thank God he hit 180. 26.
Ooh. I breathe again.
60.
The nappy factor then could be an issue here this weekend.
Well, it could be.
Michael van Gerwen.
Well, can you imagine?
Doesn't need a nappy factor, does he? Let's face it.
No.
MVG.
92.
Although Darren Webster became a granddad for the second time this week, and he got dumped out in round one by Jim Walker, no less.
140. Richard Jewell, 129.
Now, just in a 104. Probably wouldn't have seen the 129 after that first dart.
89.
Probably wouldn't have gone for the bullseye, although he hits it there to leave himself double top. He is generally a tops man, Richard North.
134. Richard, you require 40.
Anxious times here for North fans.
Game shot on the second leg.
Yeah, he had to
Richard
take a
North.
second glance, didn't he?
Third leg is Mike
right
throw
in the top left
first.
corner.
Game on.
And North is on level terms at 1 apiece. Yeah, as I was saying, he has made only 2 previous appearances on the European Tour this year. Just the one win. That was at the European Darts Match Play, where he eventually lost to Mervyn King in the second round.
58.
Yes, we will be seeing Merv here this weekend. Drove over. Bought our co-commentator.
chauffeured him over.
140.
In the Mervmobile. Mervyn taking on the winner of perhaps the game of the day. As Richard North looks to fill it up again. And does do. On 80 number 2. Yeah, Merv plays either former Euro Tour winner Justin Pipe or Kyle Anderson, winner of the World Series. In
140.
Auckland, not Melbourne, as I mistakenly said earlier on.
It's
You can't say that.
sorry.
So you've got the Aussie Geordie over there. He'll kick off.
87. Mike, you require 81.
Apologies to any Anzacs there. Mike De Decker looking at 81 here. Beautiful first dart. Now looking at double 12.
Game shot on the third leg.
Neat
Mike
inside it.
Decker. Fourth leg is Richard to throw first. Game on.
11 darter. As good as we've seen so far today. Oh, that's good though.
125.
Doesn't understand what went wrong there. Richard North just been
58.
passing the time in August playing some of the local tournaments. That's where he was recognised. Some Andy Jenkins and Simon Whitlock playing a lot of the tournaments down there, and North was beating them,
105.
winning them, and he went to their manager and said, look at this lad, he's pretty handy. And how
I'm surprised North
well
didn't
has he
say that
done?
himself.
Well, yeah, quite.
100.
I'm sure he's been telling anybody. It's just he wasn't telling the right people.
Just a quick nod about De Decker's qualification programme last night.
123.
Christian Kallinger 6-0 and Alex Steinbauer 6-0. Two Austrians, both bageled.
55.
Read into that what
Richard,
you will.
require 148.
Well,
Read into it the fact
what
that
I
he
read
was,
into it, yeah, he's only lost one leg so far in the last 2 days.
100.
and it doesn't matter what's put in front of you. If you beat him 6-0, it's going to make you feel pretty good about yourself.
140. Richard, you require 48.
De Decker in Hamburg, where he beat Max Hopp 6-2 for a defeat by Michael Smith.
16s then.
16.
Yeah,
Mike, you
played
require
twice for Tots and,
148.
opted not to go that route.
He's got to have another crack at that double 16.
58. Richard, you require 32.
More pressure on this than there was.
A bit of pressure on this double 4 now.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
It comes
Richard
through
North.
with flying colours
Fifth leg is
to
Mike to
level
throw
things
first.
up once again
Game on.
at 2 apiece.
Well, it looks
100.
like the theme of this afternoon could continue with another tight game, because only Robert Owen has been a convincing winner today. We've seen some very good performances. Nathan Aspinall, probably the best we've seen, with a average of almost 96.
140.
But even then, it took 10 legs to see off Ulf Seder. Everything has gone 6-5 or 6-4 this afternoon, apart from that opening game where Robert Owen just dismantled Jamie Bain.
95.
And the early signs in this one suggest we could be in for something similar.
81.
Yeah, the head drops there. Just had an opportunity just to apply a bit of something on the De Decker throw. De Decker not doing much in kind though here.
98. $115.
Well, he left himself a bogey number there, Richard North.
140.
68 remaining for De Decker.
$95. Mikey requires 68. $64.
Chance
Richard, you require
for
70.
Richard North.
Yeah, he's got away with it. Shouldn't really have been in this position here, Richard North, but he's there. That's just squeaked its way in, so double 8.
Game shot on the fifth leg. Richard North.
And
Six
North
leg is
having
Richard to
trailed
throw
2-1,
first.
now leads by 3 legs to 2.
Game on.
First break of throw we've had in this one.
He likes a lengthy tussle, does Richard North. I was just looking at that performance in Barnsley when he got to the final. He beat Ray Campbell and Ricky Evans 6-5 on the way. He lost to
100.
Chizzy 6-5 in the end. And also, he beat Reyes and Wade, I think, both by 6-5 as well, en route in his quarterfinal run.
140.
Yeah, but I think that, obviously, everybody wants to be going winning matches 6-0, left, right, and centre.
60.
But Richard North, just look at those averages there. Dideka averaging almost 104 and finds himself 3-2 down. But it almost illustrates the
41.
point. Richard North managed to make his first final, going up against some big names, established players, being taken very, very close, deciding legs, and finding ways to
81.
come through it, despite the fact he's very, very young in his professional darts career. Doesn't seem to be phased that much
58.
by the chances of, the opportunity of going up against some big names. And here, Dideka's thrown some good darts at him. Admittedly, that average is
40.
raised by that excellent 11 darter each other. But North is just shrugging it off and going about his business. He just seems to play his own game, Richard North.
Well, he seems, well, just see if Dideka takes this.
140.
He's a very resilient player. When he came through Q School this year, I mean, that was his 4th attempt, I think. So, I mean, that takes a lot of gumption to keep coming back, and just giving it another
100.
go. Just
Mikey
sticking to
require
your guns and,
122.
maintaining your belief that you are good enough to come through. He first underlined that when he qualified for the UK Open, 5-6 years ago, was it? And
54.
he stuck to
Richard
his
require
guns and
120.
eventually he got his reward, and I think that's something to be admired about him. Anyway, 120 here for a 4-2 lead. Good first dart. Tops then.
100. Mikey requires
See, there's just a little
68.
pause there. I think he was moving along the oki to avoid the previous darts. They've just knocked him out of his stride. No
Okay, shot on
such
the
problem
sick
for
leg.
Mike
Mike
Dideka, who
Dideka.
breaks back immediately.
Somebody
Three
gets
apiece.
Mike to throw first. Game
And
on.
it really does look like we're going to have another tight one.
Well, North has said that his ambition now is to establish himself in the world
100.
32 within 2 years. He's going right about it. He's just outside the top 64 at the moment.
45.
Nudging towards the top 32 in the Pro Tour order of merit.
$140.
I think he may even be higher than that, the Pro Tour.
180.
Plenty of darts like that. I've seen him, as you say, make a number of quarterfinals. Made that first final.
Tied for
91.
Tied for 37th last time I checked.
You're right. You are right. However,
139.
Once you
Mikey
start
require
taking out
170.
all those players who are in the top 16 already, Richard North is in a very, very good position to go and make the Grand Prix.
96.
And once
Richard,
you start
require
making those TV
137.
tournaments, you start piling money on your ranking, and you can go places. Not going to take out the 137. However,
89. Mikey
Sets it
requires
up.
74.
Dideka, pressure on this 74. Lovely dart.
Game shot on the
Lovely
7th leg.
stuff,
Mike
right to
Dideka.
Dideka.
8 legs for Richard to
4-3.
throw
Yeah,
first.
it is.
Game on.
He's done some nice 2-dart combinations. 81 checkout in the 3rd leg. And there was another. North looking to get out the traps here, though.
140. $69.
And Richard North is one of these players that does look at various ranking tables. He knows where he
55.
stands in relation to other players. And he was talking this morning on the way here about, if I win a game or two this week or next week, then there's a whole bunch
60.
of players around me who aren't in these events, and I can leapfrog them, and I'm looking good for the Grand Prix. He knows what he wants to do. Sometimes you do wonder whether that just
46.
puts a little bit more pressure on himself, rather than just getting up there and playing your game.
Well, it can be a distraction if you're busy thinking about what other players are doing, for example. But I think if you focus on what you can
97.
do, you win your matches and satisfy your side of the equation.
Doesn't matter about it.
Doesn't matter about everybody
But this
else.
will be a new thing.
But
with
it's
North.
good for him. I think it's good that players do that. If they are aware of what's going on around them, I think it's common. I think it's just common sense.
Well,
85.
there's an argument for that. There's an argument you could just go the sort of Dave Chisnell Zen way and be unaware of everything that's going on around you.
Or the not even knowing who you're playing tomorrow.
Yes.
105.
Or indeed at that particular moment. Decker leaves himself the 170. Desperate for a treble.
65.
Okay.
Mike, you require 170.
Well, North will be back. But Decker here.
96.
Yeah.
Richard, you require 110.
Down to 74 again, just as he was in the last leg.
Oh, treble 19 had to go to give him a dart.
26.
He
Mike,
does
you require
not get
74.
it. A couple of average visits from Richard North.
Oh, he's got it again, double 16. Carbon
Shot on
copy.
the 8th leg. Mike the Decker.
74 checkout for a
Ninth leg
4-3
Mike
lead
to throw
and another
first.
to make it 5-3.
I have to
Same
say,
route to glory.
it is pretty impressive
Game on.
stuff from Mike de Decker. Not only is he averaging in the high 90s, but more importantly, he is 71%. That is world class for the young Belgian.
41.
That last dart wasn't. It was a horrible lurch.
Yes, and this will all be catching the eye of de Decker's Bulls management team who are here.
81.
Away to the right-hand side of the camera as we look at things now. It's an eye-catching performance
39.
in particular from de Decker this.
North knows what he needs to do. 3 legs on the spin. 2 of them are going to have to be against the throw. However,
140.
stolen the darts in this leg. Oh, that's inviting.
140.
I'm surprised he comes away with a couple of trebles.
The inconsistency again just creeping into North's game here. De Decker, strong visit here, and he would be in a great position.
120.
That's unfortunate, but still.
But he does have a shot for the match. Best average we've seen so far today, Nathan Aspinall. 95.5, almost 96.
65.
With 5
Mike, you
180.
require
Mike de Decker, it's his
161.
finishing that has made the difference here. He's not going to take out the 161, but he is going to leave himself handy.
99.
99
Richard, you
score
require
leaves 62, and a man who's
170.
only missed 2 darts at double in this entire game. You feel Richard North might have to take out the biggest finish of the lot just to stay alive, and that is not going to happen. So Mike de Decker wants 62
81.
for a 6-3
Mike, you
win.
require 62.
And he's found the treble 10 for double 16.
Game shot.
And
the
Mike
match.
de Decker
Mike de Decker.
just underlines a performance that featured very, very high quality finishing with another very neat and tidy checkout. 6 from 9 from the real deal today. The young Belgian goes through to face Alan Norris. Richard North was in the frame at 3 apiece, but then de Decker really just kicked on in the closing stages of that one and stamped a fair degree of class. Said it was a nervy occasion for him with the shake of the hand there, but it looked anything but a very, very accomplished performance by the Belgian de Decker. On the doubles, he goes through to face Norris tomorrow. Our final match of the session on the way. Kirk Shepherd, former World Championship finalist, up against former World Youth Champion Max Hopp.
Op de Eurotour goed gegooid mijn eerste wedstrijden. Die tweede ook, maar ja, dan komt het tegen een seed en dat is toch altijd iets anders gooien. Omdat ja, je weet dan die altijd goed zijn. Maar ik ben blij dat ik heb gegooid. Nou.
Gemiddelde dik boven de 90. Goede finishes met name. Je hebt weinig dubbels gemist.
Klopt, die 74 2 keer was heel... It's an 85 average, but if he is, it's 110 easily. So, I have to be good to beat him.
We're gonna find out tomorrow. Dames en heren, morgen is hij terug uit België. Mike de Decker!